Well, there it is. There's the old broken gear. Managed to find one on eBay, and I switched it out. And there's the new one. 72 teeth. Beautiful thing. Although I haven't gotten a chance to try anything out on the lathe yet. I've been going through the entire machine for the most part. The minor stuff mainly. And just cleaning it up, taking it apart, going through things, and putting it back together after cleaning. Here's underneath. Got everything cleaned out. And that slides nice. I learned you don't want these bolts too tight, otherwise this won't move. So I got them loose enough to where it just moves by hand freely. Whoops. There's a A-bomb sticker again. And I'm still trying to figure out if this is an original Logan or a Ward's model, but I'm not too sure. Next I gotta clean out all this stuff, and but everything seems to work good, and there's no broken parts in there, and that all seems to work really smooth, nice and tight. Another thing I have to go through and find center. So it looks like the previous owner shimmed up the tailstock, so I'm gonna have to go through that. This lead screw has all been out of shape, so it's really pretty straight now. We'll have to see if we even need these added shims to the nut that goes underneath there. Yeah, that's the nut that goes on there, and it allows you to attach with a tool post holder, which should go like that, and then all this goes on top of there, and that's about it. But like I said, I'm just getting it all shiny clean and oiled up. So those of you who are new to Logan lathes like myself may want to clean up your machine also. And a little bit of advice, a couple things I discovered when putting it together, that you definitely don't want to force this into position by bending the rod, okay? I'm talking about the threaded screw rod. When you go to put it into place, you got to loosen this up, but be careful because this whole thing will fall. So make sure you support this when you loosen it up. Drop it down just enough to swing this into position up like that. This gear here has to mesh with a gear that's up in there that controls this. Okay, so just so you're aware, I would hate to see anybody damage their lathe also. Okay, let's get this thing hung. So, gotta get this underneath the gear here. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. I have the camera mounted to my head right now. I got one bolt out there, and I have to loosen this one here. So we'll get this bolt out. Now be careful, because this part will fall. So now we'll drop, carefully support all this while we drop this down just enough to clear underneath there. And now raise it back up. Grab the bolts, put that in there, just enough to hold it in position. Another bolt, do the same on this side. Oh, you know what we forgot? We forgot the lock. Maybe we can just slide it in there. Put your finger in there to hold it all. Oh, you will bend over. Okay. She just got back from surgery, and the doctor told her she can't do much. And naturally, being a hard-headed woman, she thinks she can do it all. So I try to tell her to settle down. But no, she doesn't want to. There we go. There we go. That's locked in there. Now, I can take her bolts, push this back up into position, just for support. Mount them finger tight. And the other one fell down here somewhere. Oh no, it's still in the tool. Put that in there. Finger tight. Good. Let's get the proper size Allen wrench. Yeah, I know, no tools on the ways, but I'm being gentle. So what do we got here? Make sure the camera's lined up. I hope you guys are able to see all this, because I really don't want to do it over again. You know, it's weird. Some bolts are metric, some bolts are standard. It's an odd machine. There's that. And that one's just finger tight. Okay. And there you have it. Everything slides nice and smooth, all greased up. Now we gotta tighten the gibs. You know, I've never done this before either, so hopefully what I learn gets passed on to someone else. So, I'll tighten these pretty good. We don't want these to loosen up. Okay. This one. Okay. Stuck. And that slides really nice. I think this bed is in pretty darn good shape. I don't think this thing was used much at all. There's here basic surface rust, minor dings and such, but overall, I mean, from one end to the other, feels really good. Gibs, we gotta tighten up our gibs now. So what I do is whenever I take off the cross slide or anything like this, I go finger tight, and then I do that again. I keep doing that until I can't feel it lift. Finger tight until I could put quite a bit of pressure on it, and then just a little bit extra, I mean a hair, and that should be good. Okay. And that one should be set. You know, we could go, just to be safe, a twig more there, or a hair more, whatever you want to call it. You don't want it too tight to where you can't move the thing, but you don't want it loose enough to where the whole unit raises off the ways. So let's take a walk around to the other side and do the same thing. These I already did, but you'll see the gibs under here. It grabs the bottom of the table and it squeezes it ever so lightly, both sides, all the way across actually. And using these 3 bolts, you do the same thing. You tighten until you can't feel it, any movement at all, and then maybe just a hair more, and that's it. So and now we gotta tighten that one up. So let's grab the wrench, tighten that thing down. Make sure it's secure, but it can still move. There you go. It's getting a little tight over here towards the end. So let's see if we can fix that. We'll loosen it up, then bring it all the way over here, all the way to the end this way, right to the end of the threaded shaft. Now tighten it. It's pretty darn tight. That might be a little too tight, but it loosens up as now that we're in the center of the machine. It's loosened up quite a bit. So you know what? How often do you go past the center. Not often. Usually you're either in the center here or to the operator side. And that feels really, really good. So now what I like to do to prevent any damage to the machine, is I'm going to bring this to its maximum. Okay. Furthest out, because you got to remember the machine can drive this past its maximum, and you'll either break a tooth here if you go past its maximum. You could potentially strip the threads on your screw drive. You could damage the gears in there. You can damage this. There's a lot that can go wrong. So maxed out is about right there. So I'm going to do 2 full turns. 1, 2, right there. And now I'm going to mark it. And that way I know when I'm machining something, I am not going to go past that point on the automatic setting. So let's get a marker and mark it. But before we mark it, we got to take care of some business.
Maybe.
Huh?
I was thinking I might be able to use these on decorations. My log thing?
Hold on. I'm taking care of some business.
Yeah, I see that.
That's my baby. Okay, the wife suggested that instead of using a marker, use this fingernail polish. It sticks to everything. So what we're gonna do is just mark. Oh, don't let it drip. We're just gonna make a little mark between the frame of the machine here and the cross slide. There we go. And on this side. Now when you're running in automatic mode, you'll know where to stop the machine before it reaches its limit. Voila, simple as that. Okay, now that we have our maximum marked so that the machine doesn't extend itself too far, it's time to set the gibs. Now, again, I don't know the proper way to do it, but what I did with my old lathe was I just bring all these in to the point where they touch the machine. This side, there's a metal plate that when you turn the screws, it tightens up against this and squeezes this entire thing so that there's no movement. Get that out of the way. Bring this to the center of the machine and see all the play in there. We're going to tighten this down until that side motion is gone. And you'll see, look inside here, See that plate move? This screw brings that plate right up to it. You could see it moving and squeezing up against there. I bring it just to the point where it touches. That's that one. See, now there's no more play in it. This side, there's still play. So I'm going to do the same thing. Just to the point where it touches right there. And these. And this one. Right there. Double check your work to make sure that this still moves. You could move it all the way to one end, because sometimes wear occurs more in one area than it does in another. So now let's lock them down. Might be too tight. Oh, I broke my screwdriver. Shitty screwdriver anyway. If it broke, it's not worth having. Let me get a new one and I'll finish adjusting those. Okay. I've got the gibs all tightened up all the way around. I mounted a nice block of, or a nice round bar of aluminum on the chuck, 7 inches. I've yet to indicate it in, but let's get this started here. So we want to get this on 30 degrees, which is right about there. Making sure it does not move. 30 degrees seems like a good starting point. Let's go to the other side. Tighten this up. Now let's get some oil and grease it up. Oh, yummy. I will be right back. Alright, now that I'm back, it's time for some lube. I prefer this Super Lube. Works great. It's a synthetic grease that I used on my last lathe, if I can never get the damn thing open. And I'm just going to put a dab on the gear here, a dab on the gear there, dab on the gear there, dab on the gear there, and that's it. That should be good. Oh, we don't want to forget in here either. A little bit there, a little bit there. I got an oil in there, but my big question is, where's the oil fillings for the bearings? If anybody can chime in on that, I would appreciate that. I don't feel any slop in the bearings at all, but I'm sure they do need to be oiled occasionally, yes? So, and I don't see anything in the back either, unless I'm just blind. So, any help in determining how to oil the main bearings would be very much appreciated. Okay, everything is dialed in, everything is greased up, everything is lubed up. Let's get the tools off the bed. And this is indicated to within about 1/1000. 7-inch round stock by 2.9 inches thick. So let's get the chip guard on, and we'll do our first cutting. Okay, goggles are on. Everything is tight. Tool posts on. This isn't the greatest tool to be doing this with, but it's just a test, so I've never used the crossfeed function either. So let's see what happens here. Try the crossfeed. Okay, bring it out. About it right there. Nice finish where it was cutting. Very nice finish. But we still got to go through all that. Alright, let's try it coming outward. That looks Looks like I gotta set the tool height still. Well, let's adjust the tool height. Getting a little nub there. Fix that and we'll be right back. There's our 4 and our 1.5. Okay, babe. Loosen this up. Just a tad. Loosen this up. Just a tad. Tighten this to raise it just a tad. And now let's tighten these back down. And there we have it. Still a wee bit of a nub. I mean the tiniest of nubs. So let's start her up. The one thing I don't like is this handle could break if it's in the wrong position as it's coming backwards. Alright. Clear this of the garbage. Make it go into the proper direction, the opposite direction. Bring that in 5 thousandths and cut. Weird because it stopped cutting right there as if something's moving. I wonder if the carriage is moving. I'm going to have to lock it down next time around. Alright, stop the cross feed right there. Go back the other direction, make sure it's locked. And, oh, this time we want to lock the carriage. Start it up. We go in another 10 thousandths and feed. Getting some chatter there. But it's cutting all the way through now that I locked the carriage, which is a good sign. Okay, let's stop it. Still not cutting through there. So let's reverse it. Turn it on. Go in another 10. And start. Ooh, that's a lot to cut. Let's try putting it in back gear. There's my screwdriver. Pop the pin out. There we go, pop it out. Put this in gear. Reverse direction. Now it'll be slow. Should be able to handle this now. More torque. So now we'll go in 10 thousandths and pop it. And that be it. A little bit of a nub there, but you know what? I can fix that a little bit better tomorrow. It's getting late, guys. Well, not bad for a first test. Needs some work. Gotta bring up my other tooling from the basement where the other lathe is, and maybe we'll start building this part